Decay has touched Vanessa Kapatelis and stolen her youth. The little girl now lies aged to near death, her life force withered in an instant. Diana of Themyscira makes a vow: the monster must be stopped. Above it all, the gods look down from Olympus, their gaze heavy with judgment, whispering of Ares and the spreading shadow of war. Below, Diana runs with superhuman speed across Boston, racing against time itself to stop a disaster that grows with every step Decay takes. This is Wonder Woman number 4, May 1987. A long day's journey into Fright.
Nava Jewels Studios presents epic comic recaps. Before the movies, before the TV shows, the legends of superheroes were born in the pages of comics. Welcome to Epic Comic Recap, your weekly journey through the greatest comic book origins and adventures. From full series breakdowns of legendary heroes to surprising one-off recaps of forgotten stories, we bring classic comics back to life. Every week, we'll dive deep into iconic runs, exploring betrayal, triumph, and the birth of legends, one issue at a time. Subscribe now and join us for Epic Comic Recap, Classic Comics, Legendary Beginnings.
Inside the shattered remains of the Kapatelis home, Julia Kapatelis clings to her daughter, frantic and helpless. Vanessa is unrecognizable, her skin frail, her voice weak, her body reduced to an old woman's shell. Julia can only scream for help, but Diana knows the truth. Mortal medicine won't be enough. With iron calm, Diana issues her orders. Julia must take Vanessa to the hospital. Diana will stop the monster. She leaps into the Boston night, following a trail of destruction. Trees turn to gray husks, benches collapsing into rot, metal rusting in seconds. Everywhere Decay passes, terror follows. Then it begins. Decay lunges, clawing forward with hands that carry the kiss of entropy. Diana dodges, every deflection a narrow escape. But the rules are brutal. Even the slightest graze ages her flesh. A single swipe etches cruel lines into Diana's cheek. Another touch stiffens her shoulder, her joints aching as if decades have passed. She feels her body begin to betray her. Still, she holds her ground. She pivots to distance and strategy, feints, ricochets, misdirection. But Decay laughs, her very presence melting the world around her. And far above, the Olympian Council debates. Athena speaks of balance, Hermes warns of war, and all know the hand of Ares is at play. His sons, Phobos and Deimos, grin in the shadows, spreading fear and panic across man's world. Meanwhile, at Hanscom Air Force Base, Lieutenant Etta Candy works quietly in the dark, prying into military files, stumbling upon the ominous words, the Ares Project. She edges closer to the truth and closer to danger. Back in Boston City erupts into chaos. Sirens wail, civilians scatter, news vans screech to curbs. Reporters shout into cameras as helicopters circle overhead. Diana knows her first duty: protect the people. She raises her bracers, clears escape routes, shields a child from flying debris. But the cameras are rolling, and Boston itself becomes part of the story. The city is no longer just a backdrop, it's a living witness. A legend is being written live on the evening news. Decay presses her advantage. Another strike, another wound. Age crawls across Diana's arm, deep into her muscles. For a moment she falters, then her hand steadies on her greatest weapon, the lasso of truth. But tonight it is not a rope of interrogation. It is a conduit for something deeper. Woven with the power of Gyu, it channels life itself. Renewal, harmony, creation. Diana stops playing Decay's game. She measures the throw, times the arc, and unleashes the lasso. It coils perfectly around the monster, and then it surges. Life floods into entropy. Truth batters against corruption. Decay screams, her form unraveling as she is consumed by what she cannot endure. The lasso short-circuits her deathly aura. Diana's own stolen youth returns as her wrinkles vanish, her body restored, and then silence. Decay disintegrates, scattering as dust on the wind. The Boston Common falls still. Diana kneels, catching her breath. Battered but unbroken, cameras capture every second. The next morning, the name spreads like fire. Newspapers and anchors settle on a phrase that will never leave her. Wonder Woman, mystery heroine saves city from deadly demon of destruction. A myth is no longer whispered, it is broadcasted. Public awe mixes with suspicion. But the legend is here to stay. Meanwhile, the war god's shadow spreads. Steve Trevor, branded a fugitive, hides from the law. But when he sees the Boston footage, he tells Etta, he knows instantly, this is the same Amazon who saved him in the Caribbean. He resolves to find her. Yet the cost is heavy. At Mercy General, Julia sits beside Vanessa's bed. The girl is stable, but the curse of magical aging remains. Modern medicine offers no cure. Diana and Julia will need ancient answers, perhaps Harmonia's amulet, perhaps something even older. Back at the Kapatelis winter home, Diana and Julia bury themselves in lore, searching for hope in myth. And then, Steve himself appears at the edge of the property. A soldier in exile meets a warrior in exile, both wary, both protective of Julia and Vanessa. It could have been the start of trust, but fate had other plans. A sudden thud. Steve runs to the car and finds Etta unconscious on the ground, and standing above her, pistol raised, is Colonel Michaelis. Diana, Steve, and Julia are frozen in a lethal standoff. The god of war has many pawns. And that brings us to the end of Wonder Woman, 1987, number 4, A Long Day's Journey into Fright. Diana faced the horror of Decay, saved Boston from crumbling into dust, and in the process, earned a name that will follow her forever, Wonder Woman. But the battle was only the beginning. The pieces are moving, the gods are watching, and Diana's greatest trial is still to come. If you enjoyed this dive into George Pérez's legendary run, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next week for the issue number 5 from June 1987 called The Ares Project, as the saga of Wonder Woman continues.
If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell icon so you'll never miss an origin story, a betrayal, or the moment a hero is born. This is Epic Comic Recap, Classic Comics, Legendary Beginnings. See you next time, folks.